the Air Raid All-Stars. All right, starting off at number 000, give it up for Bacon. Number 03, your mom's favorite. Number 06, Trouble Axel.
Punch it.
Number 619, Chevy Chevelle. Number 1029, Jules Burner. Number 14, Ziggy Starcrush.
Yes, nice.
Number 181, Skyscraper. Number 22, Catchphrase. Number G23, River Tantrum. Number 333, Little Fugly Foo-Foo. Number 40, Gallo Freya. Number 4477, Mascara. Number 555, Bam Vicious. Number 718, Ragin' Bajan. Number 77, Macy Big. And at number 8 is Booty Poppins. And number 9, Scurvy Pete. Give it up for your Air Raid Roller Girl All-Stars.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Rose City's own Wreckers. Skating for you tonight, number 1010, Slow Loris. Number 108, Evil Regal. Number 123, Rebecca Shacker. Number 14, Jill Breaker. Number 20, she'll put a welt on. Number 22, Marie Haviland. Number 23, Colonel Korn. Number 249, Slamrocks. Number 26, Shimmy Coco Bop. Number 32, Lauren Forcer. Number 33, Uppercase. Number 483, Psychedelic. Number 630, Rodent. Number 666, Smelter Skelter. Number 718, New York. Number DV8, Fleur de Lethal. And last but not least, number W88, Venus Envy. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your Wreckers. And we have to let him go because everybody doesn't want to go out there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hangar. If you're here for donkey basketball, that's in the building across the parking lot. This is roller derby. Can I see a show of hands of people who have never seen roller derby before, other than myself? Awesome. So pay attention during the first 4 jams or so. Mistress Mouth and I are going to go through some Derby 101. We're going to cover the basics, and then we're just going to rip it up all night long. Oh, sorry. So, Mistress Mouth.
Yes, Pony.
On the line, we see a ton of skaters. 2 of them with the stars on their helmets. What are those people?
Those skaters with the stars on their helmets are the jammers. They are the ones that score points for their team.
And right now we're looking at New York up for the Wreckers.
And looks like we've got Little Fugly Foo-Foo jamming for Air Raid.
New York has broken out, and she is now lead jammer. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo still hung up in the pack. Looks like she hands the star off to her pivot.
And that's New York through for 5 points.
Your mom's favorite now with the star on her helmet. She is the active jammer for the Air Raid All-Stars.
And New York deciding to call off that jam. So as we saw, the skaters with the stars on their helmets are the only people in the game who score points for their teams. One of those jammers very quickly, hopefully, becomes a lead jammer. You want to tell us what that person is?
Yes, the first jammer through the pack legally gets the status of lead jammer, which gives her the advantage of being able to call off the jam when she feels it is necessary.
So right now, 1, 2.
Ziggy Scarcrush jamming for Air Raid.
And it's Rebecca Shacker out front. She is your lead jammer, with Zibby Starcrush right behind her.
Now, as you can see, the Wreckers jammer, who was lead jammer, she got through the pack, picked up her points, saw that the Air Raid jammer was coming in to score some points, and called it off, keeping her from scoring any points. That's the advantage of being lead jammer.
And once again, being able to call off the jam at any time. That's a lead jammer. So, given there are some skaters sitting in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box already, what are all these other skaters doing on the track?
Those are blockers, Pony. They are the most important skaters. They hold back the opposing jammer and try to keep them from picking up any points, all in the meantime trying to help their jammer through to pick up points of their own.
So Lauren Forcer out there for the Wreckers, having a tough time through the pack, has finally broken out.
4477. Number 4477, Mascara, jamming for Air Raid. She's got lead jammer.
Mascara taking a beating, drops to the inside, calls off the jam, but not in time before Lauren Forcer picked up 4 points of her own. All right, so we've seen both teams already in this game having a little bit of penalty trouble. Let's talk about what penalties do, or how do you get them?
How do you what?
How do you get them?
You get penalties by doing things that are not allowed, such as throwing elbows, low blocking, back blocking, or cutting the track. And when you're given a penalty, you have to spend 30 minutes in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box to think about what you've done.
And that's Marie Haviland through for lead jammer for the Wreckers. Followed closely by number 6, Trouble Axel on the inside. Picking up 2 points for Air Raid, 3 points for Air Raid. Holy mackerel. here, then it won't bounce everything around it. That's okay. We're going to start doing reads anyway, so our load's going to get a lot easier right now. All right, stepping up to the line, number 718. That's New York for the Wreckers.
And for Air Raid Roller Girls, we've got number 333, Little Fugly Foo-Foo. Coming up against that wall of black blockers for the Wreckers.
New York picks up a forearm. Will be spending 30 seconds in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
That's going to mean a power jam for Air Raid. Power jam meaning only one scoring skater on the track. She gets 30 seconds of unanswered points, and she has taken hold of lead jammer for Air Raid.
Wreckers trying to set up shop in the front end. Air Raid working together and really busting up that wall.
Nice job by number 555, Bam Vicious, clearing a path for her blocker or for her jammer to get through, picking up 5 more points for Air Raid.
New York back on the track. Foo-Foo working through her line. Right now up front, weaving her way through the Wreckers pack. And calling it off. Hey.
And from my point of view, it looks like we've got a 1-point game. Air Raid down 16 to Wreckers 17. One Air Raid blocker in the penalty box, and we've got number 14 Ziggy Starcrush on the line up against number 32 Lauren Forcer for the Wreckers.
Both jammers off. Air Raid down 1 going into this jam. Go get it.
There goes number 14 Ziggy Starcrush picking up lead jammer for the Air Raid All-Stars.
Lauren Forcer breaking out of the pack. She's on her scoring pass as well.
Ziggy Starcrush knocked to the outside and just getting pinballed through that pack. Gets through, picks up her points. Picks up 4 points and calls off the jam. Math says that's a lead change, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazingly quick footwork on Starcrush's part.
Very, very nice indeed.
Bounced out, bounced right back in before anybody saw her, grabbed her points and called it off. On the line right now, number 1, 2, 3, Rebecca Shacker.
44-77 Mascara on the line for the Air Raid Roller Girls. Getting held up at the back of the pack. Number 1, 2, 3 to the front with a solid wall of 3 teal jerseys to get around.
Rebecca Shacker out the front end. She is lead jammer. Rebecca Shacker through on the inside. Penalties like crazy being called at the end of that one. I totally lost track of what was going on. Looks like Air Raid will be starting the next jam. Down 1 to the penalty box, and so will the Wreckers. Wreckers. Oh. With number 32, Lauren Forcer back on the track.
Up against number 06, Trouble Axel for Air Raid.
Trouble Axel working over the black wall in the back right now and taking a bit of a beating.
And the Wreckers with lead jammer, Lauren Forcer.
Trouble Axel having a tough time getting past lane 1, and Lauren Forcer through for 5.
Like they didn't even see her coming.
Trouble Axel on the run, barely makes it through the pack and gets soaked back in.
5 more points for Lauren Forcer.
Air Raid setting up shop in the front. Only 2 blockers from Wreckers on the track right now. And that jam is off. Whoop. Hey, we'd like to thank Bridgetown Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of RCR since the beginning. That's Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Little Fugly Fufu lining up for the air raid roller girls.
And she's up once again against Marie Haviland. Haviland up to the front and working with Air Raid, who are doing a nice job of slowing her down.
And we've got Air Raid picking up lead jammer, Little Fugly Fufu.
Haviland having a tough time with Air Raid in the backfield right now. Wrecker's doing a great job dropping in, trying to scrape off Air Raid from their jammer as
Little Fugly Fufu picks up 5 more points for Air Raid.
Fufu through the pack, dropped to the inside, and decides to call it off. Cut being called.
We want to thank Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and design. Visit bikepunk.com.
Your mom.
Lining back up, we've got number 718, New York, up against Mascara for Air Raid.
New York once again up front with Air Raid's front line. One more to get by.
New York
No pack is called, and they are forced to let her go. New York, lead jammer. See, I ran you over.
Good job by Bam Vicious holding her back as long as she could there. And now we've got Mascara through the pack as well.
New York back in the pack once again. One more to get by. Wreckers line up on the backfield. That was a great sweep. She's blue right through.
4 points each. Jammer through the pack on that last pass.
New York breaks into the pack. Your mom's favorite on the run there, trying to save her point. 38-30, Wreckers.
We'd also like to thank OHSU Sports Medicine, proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers. Trouble Axel on the line for Air Raid.
And that's once again Rebecca Shacker. Shacker around the outside in the front, lead jammer, Wreckers. Air Raid holding on to the front. Shacker on the attack on the inside. Breaks through, takes a tumble, and calls it off on the way down. Picked up her points for Wreckers.
Nice defensive call off there, keeping her opposing jammer from picking up any points.
Very good. Good call, because I never say that. On the line, number 32, Lauren Forcer.
Up against Ziggy Scarcrush for Air Raid. Ziggy taking that inside line, the quick way through the pack, picking up lead jammer.
Lauren Forcer breaks out right behind her. Wreckers setting up a 2-wall and then the edge on the outside. That slowed her down, and that jam is off.
Ziggy jukes to avoid the hit, but ends up sending herself out of bounds.
Evil Regal with the super hit on the outside edge there. But back on the line in heavy rotation, it's number 718, New York.
Taking on number 333, Little Fugly Fufu. Oh, big pile up there right at the whistle.
New York takes a huge hit and drops. On the inside, New York trying to find her way around the wall.
Little Fugly Fufu gets around one last blocker, picks up lead jammer.
Air Raid trying to figure out this game and have put the tag on New York right now. Finally breaking out and on her scoring pass.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo sneaks through the pack, picking up 4 more points for Air Raid.
Air Raid trying to get together up front. What happened? That's why. It's harder to call, right? So they're not doing anything.
Mascara on the line for Air Raid.
And once again, Lauren Forcer.
Lauren Forcer going to the inside, Mascara to the outside with 1 more to get around. Gets called on a back block penalty. She will serve 30 seconds in the penalty box.
That leaves Lauren Forcer on the track all by herself. Lead jammer, power jam.
Lauren Forcer gets called on a cutting track penalty of her own. Jammer rules says that the Air Raid jammer will only spend Lauren Forcer will only spend as much time in the penalty box as Air Raid's jammer did, usually resulting in shorter penalties for the jammers.
Some musical chairs of roller derby. So Bam Vicious to the penalty box for a illegal procedure. Thank you. Uppercase putting the squeeze on Air Raid, and another penalty is assessed.
Mascara called on a cut track penalty.
Lauren Forcer hits the pack, and right now pushing her way through with 1 more to get by. And they have to let her go. Through for all 5, Lauren Forcer.
Lauren Forcer up against a solid 4 wall of Air Raid blockers.
Air Raid bridging out right now. Lauren Forcer pushing hard to break through the line on the inside. 5 more wreckers.
How was that not?
Colonel Korn on her way to the penalty box at the end of that jam.
Also like to thank Fat Tire Ale and Ranger IPA. Grab one from concessions. Quench that thirst. Trouble Axel on the line for Air Raid. Up against Rebecca Shacker.
And something happened.
Trouble Axel picks up lead jammer.
Trouble Axel putting on quite a show. Rebecca Shacker out and on her scoring pass. Trouble Axel on the inside. A little bit of trouble. Everybody goes down. She gets up and runs, calling off that jam. We were both up.
I know.
You gotta let it go. Next jam. New jam.
Rocking up for a new jam. We've got number 333, Little Fugly Foo-Foo on the line for Air Raid.
And I do believe, once again, New York on the line. New York attacks the line, a little bit of a tumble in the pack.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo knocked down.
New York on the inside, lead jammer.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo still trying to fight her way through the pack.
Wrecker's doing a great job slowing her down, but she broke through on the inside scoring pass.
Multiple penalties being called by the outside pack refs.
New York up front, can't break the wall, decides to call it off.
Number 14, Ziggy Starcrush lining up for air raid.
And once again, that's number 32, Lauren Forcer. Eagle Regal uppercase. Up front, Eagle Regal covering the outside, uppercase to the in.
Ziggy Scar Crush picks up lead jammer for air raid.
Photo
barely.
finish. And it's a race to the back of the pack. Lauren Forcer putting the pressure on all the way. Ziggy breaks through, picks up 4.
She starts calling it off as she approaches the pack so she can pick up her points, but have it called off before the opposing jammer gets to the pack.
I want Ziggy to celebrate all of her points the way she was just doing. It was awesome.
Mascara back on the line for air raid.
And once again, Rebecca Shacker. Air raid doing a good job dropping in front of Rebecca Shacker and slowing her down.
Mascara gets around the last one. She's picked up lead jammer.
Shacker breaks out. She's on her scoring pass. And the Wreckers are working to hold the front.
A very fast-moving pack to compensate for some very fast-moving jammers racing it out.
Rebecca Shacker trying to take the inside.
And Mascara gets knocked to the outside, decides to call it off. Treble Axel on the line for Air Raid All-Stars.
And once again, up against New York.
Lining up on that Ron Tonkin Fiat jammer line. There they go.
New York trying to take the outside, escorted off the track
by Ziggy Scar Crush. There goes Air Raid with lead jammer number 6, Treble Axel.
New York having a tough time breaking through Air Raid's wall on the outside right now. And she's out on her scoring pass.
Treble Axel being given a little trouble through the pack, but she is through now. Picks up 4 points and calls off the jam.
Ziggy Star Crush on her way to the penalty box.
Nice little flare by Il Presidente there. Thank you, sir.
Il Presidente.
Number 333, Little Fugly Foo-Foo on the line for Air Raid.
And once again, Marie Haviland. Marie Haviland up front working with all 4. Now just 1 to get by. Haviland to lead jammer.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo hung up behind Slow Loris. Through the pack now.
Air Raid trying to break to the front. Air Raid holding the front. Haviland breaks through, calling off the jam. 2 points.
Rose City would also like to thank Kind Bars. Snack like there's no tomorrow. A brand of all-natural whole nut and fruit bars made from ingredients you can see and pronounce. I had the honey mustard. It was delicious.
Number 1, 2, 3, Rebecca Shacker back on the line, up there working against...
That's number 4477, Mascara back up for Air Raid.
Shacker pummels your mom's favorite and takes lead jammer.
Mascara is still trying to work her way through the pack, knocking over number 666 in the process.
Gallofreya on her way to the penalty box.
Forearm penalty being called on Mascara. That's going to mean a power jam for the Wreckers.
Shacker, unopposed on the inside, breaks through, gets by your mom's favorite, and takes all 5. Air Raid setting up shop at the front end. Through for 5. Shacker slams the wall, tumbles all around. One more. Air Raid double teams her and they can't get by her.
Mascara out of the pack and out of the box and through the pack.
And Shacker calling it off.
Wow. We'd also like to thank Bridgetown Automotive. When quality counts, call Bridgetown Automotive. Support Rose City Rollers while taking great care of your car.
We're right back at it. I think it was just tallying up points in that one. Back on the line, it looks like New York.
Up against Little Fugly Foo-Foo.
New York breaking to the out.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo picks up lead jammer for Air Raid.
Both jammers out at the same time. Oh.
Ref down. Little Fugly Foo-Foo getting called on a multiplayer block. Will spend 30 seconds in the penalty box.
Little debate over whether she'd made the line of last resort. New York trying to break through right now. Fighting him off backwards. Scurvy Pete puts her down in the turn and heads to the penalty box.
Another 5 points in the air for New York.
Wreckers setting up shop at the front. Air Raid waiting for the assault. New York just breaks the line and calls it off.
But not before Little Fugly Foo-Foo gets into the pack and picks up 1 point before the end of that jam.
She's quick.
She's very quick.
Hey, cars2go.com. Meet the future of car sharing. Sign up today at cars2go.com.
And correction, it looks like she did not pick up that 1 point before the end of the jam. Referee Doc Holliday just making that correction before we get back underway.
She's still really quick.
She still gets points in my book.
Oh!
Excellent job getting her out of bounds. Air Raid with a lead jam. Ziggy Star Crush.
Lauren Forcer escorted off the track by Air Raid, and Air Raid on the attack to drag her to the back of the pack. A bit of a tangle in the backfield. And it looks like a low block called on Scurvy Pete.
5 more points for Ziggy Scar Crush.
Lauren Forcer with 2 more to get by right now, pushing as hard as she can. Air Raid really doing everything they can to slow her down.
Solid wall of wreckers for Ziggy to try to get around. She's had all she wants and she calls it off.
That was a very rough jam. 2 minutes left before the half. Great time to toddle on over to the concession stand. Pick yourself up an adult beverage, some of those awesome K's Lounge nachos, or a new t-shirt or something.
We've got Trouble Axel back on the line for air raid.
And Rebecca Shacker for the Wreckers. Rebecca Shacker on the inside with everybody. Lead jammer, Wreckers.
Meanwhile, Trouble Axel trying to work her way through the pack, gets knocked to the outside.
Smelter Skelter to the penalty box. Rebecca Shacker through for 5. And now they're fighting over seats in the penalty box.
We have a star pass.
Hop, skip, and a jump at the apex. Shacker gets her points and calls it off.
Star was passed. That was Ragin' Bajin, but the jam was called before she picked up any points.
PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happenings just like this one here now. That's PDX Pipeline. Oh no, we haven't been doing the reads during the official timeouts.
Mascara on the line for air raid.
And New York trying to find her way past that tumble. Lead jammer, Wreckers.
Mascara now out of the pack as well.
Your mom's favorite to the penalty box. Looks like Shimmy Coco Bop will be heading to the penalty box. It sounds like there's about 10 extra whistles on the track at the end of that jam.
All right, we are at halftime.
On the line, number 1, 2, 3, Rebecca Shacker.
Taking on number 14, Ziggy Starcrush for air raid.
Air Raid busy playing London Bridges. Down 2 to the penalty box. Air Raid doing everything they can to throw down. Shacker cannot be stopped. Lead jammer.
Ziggy on the outside gets through the pack.
Wreckers taking the line up front. Shacker calls it off. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's all. Wolf. On the line, number 20, she'll put a welt on.
Taking on Trouble Axel for air raid.
She'll put a welt on the outside. Breaks to the in, is on the run. Lead jammer, welt on.
Trouble Axel gets knocked to the outside and recycled to the back.
Welton back on the track, on the inside, unopposed, 5 points.
Trouble Axel with a failed star pass and now going to the penalty box with a cutting track penalty. Power jam for the Wreckers.
Air Raid really paying attention right now, trying to slow down your mom's favorite up front. Has to let her go, and Welton calls it off. Huge jam.
Hey, Pony, what's up with this after party tonight?
Tonight's after party is at the Selwood Public House. Your bracelet, your ticket gets you in for free. Buy a Derby Girl a beer. It's a treat, and that's a fun place to go.
I hear that. I'm going to have to check it out.
All by herself, it's Lauren Forcer. Up against pretty much the destroying line.
One more to get around. She gets around Bam Vicious. Back up against that solid wall of air raid blockers.
Trouble Axel back on the line. Meets up with the Wreckers and can't quite fight her way through.
Lauren Forcer picking up 5 more points.
Wreckers doing a super job trying to slow her down. Looks like a multiplayer block being assessed to number 14, Jailbreaker. And lots of whistles. A back block being assessed.
We'd like to thank Kelly Brown Debt Relief. Kelly Brown likes roller derby. Check them out.
We love Kelly Brown. Trouble Axel starting off this jam in the penalty box for the Roller Girls from Air Raid. And number, that was an awesome start, 718, New York. Gonna duke it out with your mom's favorite. Once again, plowing it. Lead jammer, Wreckers.
2-on-3 pack advantage there.
Around the outside, Wreckers do a great job sweeping the line.
Incredible defense.
Air Raid drops to the front. The anarchy comes from the outside. Once again, your mom trying to slow her down. Can't be done. New York through for another 5.
Trouble Axel is out of the penalty box and working her way through the pack. Skates around, fancy moves around the outside.
Cut being called on number 14, Jailbreaker.
New York calls off the jam. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to volunteer with the Rose City Rollers, check out our website for more information. There's all kinds of things you can do with the league. Get involved with roller derby without getting hurt.
Rebecca Shacker on the line for the Wreckers.
Taking on Mascara, who goes to the outside and's got one more to get around, and she is your lead jammer for Air Raid.
Air Raid doing a pretty good job slowing down Rebecca Shacker right now. It's not an easy task. And the forearm is called on Shacker.
It's going to mean a power jam for Mascara and the Air Raid All-Stars.
Wreckers up to the front, trying to hold their line, do their best to stay out of point range. And Wreckers on the run. Air Raid trying to drop in and scrape one of them off.
Mascara through the pack, picking up 5 more points for Air Raid.
All right, Wreckers getting it back together at the front end.
Mascara up to the front, breaks through that 2-wall, and calls off the jam. We'd also like to thank the PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happenings. Check them out.
Marie Haviland back to the line for the Wreckers.
Taking on Little Fugly Foo-Foo for Air Raid.
Foo-Foo drops to the outside and meets up with a black wall.
Wreckers picking up lead jammer.
Foo-Foo taking a hit at the front end. Not much progress to be made. She breaks out and is on her scoring pass. Haviland taking a beating at the front end of the pack right now.
Excellent job by the Air Raid blockers holding the jammer back from the Wreckers, allowing Little Fugly Foo-Foo to pick up some points.
Haviland holding it together in the pack, calls off that jam.
Still catching up. Number 14, Ziggy Star Crush on the line for air raid.
And that's number 20, Shell Put a Welt-On. Shell Put a Welt-On with the dropped out drag to the back of the pack. Welt-On weaves her way through and takes lead jammer.
Ziggy Star Crush on her way to the penalty box for back blocking.
And I think I've seen more officials fall down in this game than I've ever seen before.
I love it. I love to see that the referees are real people too.
Shell Put a Welt-On calling that one off. Rebecca Shacker taking the line for your wreckers. Unopposed, this is Power Jam.
And that's what's called lining up at the pivot line.
That's old school.
That is old school.
Through for lead jammer. No school like the old school. Shacker hits the line, trying to work her way around the outside. Your mom's favorite's there to meet her on the out.
Little Fugly Fufu out of the penalty box and in the back of the pack makes quick work on her initial pass. 5 more points for the Wreckers, however.
Shacker calling it off before Stardust had a chance to break in and grab any points. And
we've got Trouble Axel on the line for air raid. Up against number 718, New York for the Wreckers. New York picking up lead jammer for the Wreckers. Trouble Axel having trouble of her own getting through the pack. There she goes on her initial pass. And here comes New York working on some points around the outside. Beautifully through the pack, picking up 4 more points and calling off the jam.
well, it's nice to be back.
It's good to have you back. It's getting a little lonely up here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Mistress Mouth has something to say.
I want to give great big thanks to DJ Agent Meow here, dropping
Ladies,
the beats.
Make some noise for Agent Meow. Best in the business.
Mascara jamming for the Air Raid All-Stars.
And that's psychedelic. I don't know how to pronounce that. Dalek. Psychedelic up front.
Doctor Who reference?
Yeah, it is.
She was a junior, wasn't she? I announced her as a junior.
Yeah.
Like last year's Wild West.
And that jam is off.
I love that thing. I fucking love it. I love it.
That actually scared me. Don't do that again.
Or do. We don't censor the fans.
Or do that again. I kind of liked it.
I liked it a lot. Little Fugly Fufu jamming for Air Raid.
And once again, Lauren Forcer on the line. Fufu taking a hit to the inside. Lauren Forcer trying to find her way around that wall.
Fufu picking up lead jammer Air Raid.
Air Raid really putting the hold on Lauren Forcer. Finally breaking out.
Fufu on a scoring pass.
Fufu around the outside takes.
There's 5 points in the air for Little Fugly Fufu.
Very good. Wreckers 3, Foo-Foo, around the outside, takes all 5.
Taking advantage of that power jam, 5 more points for little fugly Foo-Foo.
It's amazing, she just kind of disappeared on that outside line. Foo-Foo on the end.
Oh! Excellent apex jump.
And it took all 5.
All 5 points. And the Air Raid All-Stars hit 100 points. Woo. With plenty of time still left on the clock.
Air Raid takes the front line. Trouble Axel up for them. Shell put a welt on up for the Wreckers. Both jammers still trying to fight to get out of the pack.
Oh, nice spin move coming through the pack. She picks up the points and falls back.
Trouble Axel with a little trouble breaking through the pack. Back to the front. Wreckers doing a super job recycling to the front and holding her down.
Trouble Axel. Trouble Axel having a little trouble getting through, calls it off.
Hey, we'd like to thank the Portland Mercury, Portland Vital Signs, City Graphics, and Kay's Bar.
Thank you for your derby lovin's.
Thank you for those pulled pork nachos, Kay's Bar.
Oh my gosh. Is that what those were?
On the line, number 1, 2, 3, Rebecca Shacker. Shacker up front trying to break out. Shrugs off a huge hit. Delayed reaction. She is not your lead jammer.
Mascara getting knocked to the inside. She's gonna give it another go. She's still eligible for lead jammer.
Out huge hits into the line.
And now we have Air Raid in a power jam. Mascara in the driver's seat.
Pretty much exactly what I would want to see right now if I was Air Raid. A really big lineup. A sweep from the outside. Mascara trying to break out through the middle.
She is through, picking up 5 more points and calling off the jam. Excellent pack work there, keeping the pack very fast. Beautiful skating. Sorry.
That's okay. I can't figure out one. Just pick one. Oh, here we go. Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and designs. Visit bikepunk.com.
They are lining up on the pivot line again. Number 333, Little Fugly Foo-Foo, starting off in a power jam for Air Raid. Oh, and he knocked down. Little Fugly Foo-Foo gets through the pack. She's lead jammer. So much fun, I can't even find the words.
What's this? We already did that. How about this one? New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale or IPA Ranger. Grab one from our concession stands anytime.
Trouble Axel back on the line for Air Raid.
And that's Marie Haviland up for your Wreckers.
Trouble Axel spinning her way through to the front of the pack, picking up lead jammer Air Raid.
Haviland on her way to the penalty box. Air Raid with another power jam. A chance to rack up some points.
There she goes, Trouble Axel through the pack, picking up a 5-point grand slam.
Records power through to get everybody up front. Air raid on the attack.
Oh. Oh. Gotcha.
Trouble Axel round the outside. Takes all 5. Haviland breaking through the pack up front with 2 more to go. Breaks through. She's on her scoring pass.
Trouble Axel. Spin moves through the pack yet again. Calls off the jam. Picking up 3 points.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Hey, Joe's Burgers, 4 locations. Awesome Burgers, the official feeder of your RCR volunteers. And we'd also love to thank Bridgetown Automotive. When quality counts, Bridgetown Automotive. New York on the line, breaks through the inside.
Little Fugly Fufu caught up in a little confusion there at the whistle start. Recycled to the back.
Shimmy, shimmy, Coco Bop called on an illegal procedure and sent to the penalty box. 108.
Evil Regal knocking little Fugly Fufu out of bounds.
And herself right into the penalty box, apparently. New York through for 5. I gotta say though, Evil Regal has been dishing out the most amazing hits all night long, playing some super derby.
Holy moly.
Do you call that a tumble or a pileup? That was more of a pileup.
Whatever, it was carnage.
Pandemonium. The crowd goes wild. Oh, pandemonium.
Now he gets it.
Sounds like Chinese cleaning products.
Get your pandas nice and clean.
And Shell put a welt on, trying to break through on the outside. Air raid putting the screws to her, but lead jammer.
Mascara having a tough time at the back of the pack. Wreckers, blockers giving her what for, knocking her to the inside and gonna recycle her to the back.
Uppercase on the drag back. Didn't happen.
Mascara now serving some time in the penalty box. I think she got a cutting track penalty.
Shell put a welt on, casually calling off that jam.
I have no idea. She's rolling around on the floor.
She's got an escape, a malfunction, maybe? I don't know what she's doing. And they're off. Last minute substitution.
Well, that seemed to work out in their favor. Number 14, Ziggy Starcrush, flying off the bench to the lineup, picks up lead jammer.
Rebecca Shacker right behind her.
Taking a fall through the pack, calls off the jam, will reset for the next one. Little Fugly Fufu lining up for air raid.
And for the wreckers, it's number 22, Marie Haviland. Little Fugly Fufu around the outside. Duking it out up front. Haviland breaks to the inside, takes most of the team. Air raid with her. Lead jammer, Haviland.
Little Fugly Fufu trying her best to get around those 3 wreckers blockers there. Knocked to the outside. Almost run over.
I can't keep up with how many whistles are blowing. And that jam is off. I know that one. That was like a symphony in screechy whistles.
It's on my meditation CD. I listened. There definitely was a flurry of penalties there in that last jam. Number 14, Ziggy Starcrush on the line for Air Raid, up against New York for the Wreckers. Ziggy Starcrush, all kinds of excited to pick up lead jammer for Air Raid. Ziggy Starcrush gets up into the pack, picks up her 3 points, and calls off the jam.
And we're right back in it. 5 minutes left in this half.
Mascara lighting up for Air Raid.
And that's Shell put a welt on for your Wreckers. Shell put a welt on, beating the front line right away. Lead jammer.
Mascara trying to work her way through the pack. Gets knocked to the outside in front of the penalty box.
Wreckers bunching up. Holding down Air Raid, and Shell put a welt on, takes a switch to it, and breaks through. Shell put a welt on, dropped in the turn, and decides, call it off.
Jules Burner jamming for her first time tonight.
And once again, Wrecker's own Rebecca Shacker. Shacker on the outside, one more to get by. On the edge, ekes it out.
Jules Burner through the pack now, 2 on her initial pass.
Clockwise block called on number 14, Ziggy Starcrush. And that jam is off.
Where'd it go? Ladies and gentlemen, the magic is in the hole. Voodoo Donut, proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice.
Yeah, awesome.
I love donuts too.
Baloo 22 waved off the track.
Skyscraper jamming for Air Raid.
Haviland recycled to the back of the pack, works her way around the outside. She's still lead jammer.
Skyscraper was looking for her pivot to pass the star to. Her pivot was in the penalty box.
I would say that Air Raid is suffering from a little bit of penalty trouble right now.
Hate that.
With really only, well, now 2, 3 players on the track. More penalties being called as we speak. Haviland through for 5. Haviland through for 5.
Making it look easy. Another penalty being assessed to an air raid blocker. One left on the track.
Venus Envy to the penalty box for the Wreckers.
River
Haviland
Tantrum.
breaks through the pack, shrugging off hits left and right.
Skyscraper on her way back to the penalty box.
All right, this is turning into a flat-out gigantic jam for Haviland. Haviland down in the turn, up and on the run, takes all 5.
That's 29 points so far on this one jam.
Haviland to the outside, breaks to the in. They almost had a piece of her. Ziggy Starcrush doing a terrific job trying to slow down Haviland in the turn there. Haviland hits the wall. Air raid's ready for her.
Holy moly. $37-point jam for the Wreckers.
That's impossible.
Oh.
Pandemonium.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo lining up for air raid.
And once again, New York on the line.
Oh, big pile up there on turn 1.
The track is out of control.
Little Fugly Foo-Foo picks up lead jammer.
New York on her way to the penalty box. That leaves Foo-Foo on the track in a power jam right when they need it.
Oh, nice work through the pack, picking up another 5 points. There's Little Fugly Foo-Foo.
This is exactly the power jam that Air Raid's been looking for. That was a cut. It wasn't the power jam they were looking for.
And with Little Fugly Foo-Foo in the penalty box, that means this jam will go its full 2 minutes.
New York on her way to the penalty box for a forearm, and Foo-Foo will be released.
Yes, indeed she will.
To take another swing at that power jam. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! Whip it up, we're almost done. Foo-Foo attacks the line, finds a bit of pushback. Foo-Foo fights her way through and takes all 5. Foo-Foo on the inside, weaves to the out, all the way around. Wreckers can't stop her. That's it. We'll be down on the track for MVP awards and our official score.
Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We will be announcing the MVPs here momentarily, but feel free to come on down to the track and line up to give these gals a high five. And that's your final 221 to 141. Give it up for your Rose City Wreckers!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a victory lap for the Air Raid All-Stars!
All right, looks like we'll start with Air Raid telling us, we'll have you guys. All right, so who is your MVP blocker?
The MVP blocker is Fleur de Lethal.
Fleur de Lethal. Come on out. And the MVP jammer?
New York.
New York.
Go do it with her.
All right, I guess I get to do it. All right, so who do we have as MVP blocker for Air Raid?
Ragin!
Ragin! And who do we have for MVP jammer?
Ziggy!
Ziggy Star Crush! Congratulations, ladies. I believe there will be some team photos happening. We will see you all, ladies and gentlemen, at the after party tonight. If we could have our MVPs come back out for some photos, some Twitter action. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Off to the Selwood Public House.